welcome back to your free piano lessons. My name is Olivia and this is lesson 6 of my free course here on YouTube that's going to show you how to play piano from the very beginning. If you missed the first few lessons, click up here, it'll take you back to lesson 1. For today, we're just going to learn a couple new notes and then we'll also get some practice with playing with both of your hands together at the same time. Let's get started. Alright, for today we've just got 3 songs that we're going to do. We'll add in a couple of new notes today. So we're going to get started on page 42, which is the beginning of Unit 3. So in this one, we are adding in one new note, which is your treble clef G. And we also have, if you look up at the top, there's a little bit of information about the treble clef, which is also called the G clef. If you look at where the little swirl is on towards the bottom of the treble clef symbol, it kind of circles around the same line that this new note treble clef G is on. So you can use that kind of as a reference for where this new note is. If you look at the treble clef, that circle goes around the second line from the bottom on the treble clef, which is also the G line. So this first song that we have is only 1 line long. It's a nice short one. But the reason that we have this is because if you look over on the other side of the page, page 43, we're playing the exact same thing, except we're adding in your left hand. So this first page is kind of like a little practice run of the song that we're about to do with both of your hands together. So this one is just my right hand by itself. I'm going to start in my C pentascale here. So my thumb is on middle C. We have a repeat sign in this one, so we're going to play it twice in a row. They're telling us the first time is forte and then it says piano on repeat. So the first time is forte, the second time is piano. To review, forte is loud and then piano is going to be soft. So the first time is loud, second time is soft. And then we also have 2 slurs in this one, so all of our notes are slurred here. So everything that we play is going to be nice and smooth and connected. All right, so I'm going to show you this one from the beginning and then I'll run through this with the repeat. Then I repeat it. And that's the whole song. So with this one, the big things to know are the dynamics and also our slurs that we have. This should be a pretty simple one since it's just your right hand by itself. So go ahead and try that first. I would pause the video here and kind of get comfortable with that because it'll make it a lot easier to learn this second one that adds in the left hand if you already know the right hand part. So pause it here. Then when you're ready, we're going to start with page 43, which is Chant of the Monks. So now we're using both of our hands, which we're going to put in your C pentascale again. So both of my hands have C, D, E, F, G. Then with this one, again, your right hand is playing the exact same thing. We just are adding in the left hand. So we don't know all of these left hand notes yet. So they've given you the letters on all of those notes, so you can use that to help you with this one. But they are also just completely copying the stuff that you're playing in your right hand, so both of your hands have the same notes the entire time. So same thing with this one. We're starting off forte. The second half of it is piano. We don't have a repeat sign this time. They just have written out all of the notes with the repeat. So that's why the piano is now in the second half from measure 6. We're playing piano. So I'll show you what this one sounds like now. Notice how both of my hands are just kind of copying each other. And there we go. So with this one, once again, everything is slurred in this section of this song as well. So remember, when we're playing with a slur, we're trying to play everything legato, which is smooth and connected, right? So when I'm doing this, we're thinking about holding one note until we're actively kind of playing the next one. So from here, I'm going to keep holding this until my next one is going down, and then they'll kind of take turns here. So one is coming up as the other one is going down. Just like that. So if I'm not playing with a slur, it'll look like this. So now see how we've got some gaps in the sound where we've got a little bit of silence in between my notes? That is not slurred. If it's slurred, there is no silence. All of our notes kind of come right up against each other like this. Okay, so that's the other thing with this one. Everything is slurred, so we're trying to keep all of our notes close to each other just like that. We want everything to sound nice and smooth. So go ahead and get comfortable with both of these songs, and then when you're ready, we'll move on to the next one on page 44. All right, so for this one, this is page 44, Shining Stars. We're adding in one more new note this time, which is going to be your bass clef G. So we just learned about your treble clef G up here. Now we're gonna get bass clef G down here. So in this one, you can look up at the top little chart here. It shows you where all of the notes are that you know so far, so that's helpful. In this one, they're telling me that my third finger is going to start on E, which is my first note here. So that's why my hand is here. Then my left hand, they're telling me my first note is A. We're starting with A on my second finger, which is right here. So my two thumbs are going to be right next to each other on C and B. And then they're going to stay there for mostly the whole song. So we have pedal the entire time in this one. So I'm just going to set it down before I start playing, and then it'll just be held the entire time. There are a couple weird things in this one. So if you take a look over on the second page of this, in measure 9, remember with the measure numbers, you can look at the little boxes and all of those numbers tell you which measure it is. So this is the third line of the piece is measure 9. We're playing both of those two notes together. It doesn't really look like they're being played together because you've got the G and the A are kind of right next to each other, but they do get played together, just like this. And then when you play in your right hand, we've got C and E together, same thing. We're playing those two at the same time. So the reason that those look different is because in measure 9, in the bass clef, we've got the G and E, which that is a second, right? So both of these two notes are right next to each other. So it wouldn't really work if we put them stacked on top of each other like our notes usually are when they're played at the same time. That doesn't really work with these because they're so close together that they would be overlapping on the page and then you can't really see what the notes are. So instead they put them side by side, but you do still play them at the same time. And then in measure 10 with the C and E in your right hand, those ones are stacked on top of each other because that's a third. So they have enough space that they can be one on top of the other without overlapping, which is why they are written different on the page, but they do the same thing. Then the other weird thing about this one is if you look in the very last line of this, we've got some octave signs, which we have talked about before. So in measure 17, we're playing right here where we were. We're going to play all 4 of these notes at the same time, like this. Then both of my hands are going to move up an octave because you've got that octave sign there, the 8VA symbol. So I'm going to move up an octave to up here and then play the same thing. And then we've got the 15MA, which means we're going to move another octave higher. So now we're way up here and I'm going to play that last note. And then that last note is tied, so I'm not going to play it twice, even though we've got 2 sets of whole notes there. They're tied together, so I'm just going to play it once and hold it for 8 beats. So that's all the weird stuff in this. We do have quite a few dynamic changes to watch out for as well. We kind of go back and forth between forte and piano, so watch out for that. I'm going to play this one from the beginning so you can hear what it sounds like. Follow along in your music. Let's see. we go. So that is the last song that we're going to do for today. So the technically 3 songs that you have. You've got Shining Stars, and then you have both Chant of the Monk and Chant of the Monks. So you can work with both of those this week as well. The main 2 are this one and Chant of the Monks, though. The Chant of the Monk, again, is just to kind of practice for the one where you have your hands together. So the single Chant of the Monk on the left side of the page is kind of like a little warm-up for that one, so you don't have to practice that as much. But Shining Stars and Chant of the Monks, you will practice. Those are kind of the 2 main ones for this week. All right, that is all that I have for you guys today. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future lessons. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.